Hi, in this video, I want to talk about my most recent pickup. This will be the everyday carry that I use in videos due to its small and lightweight design. And the lens I'm talking about in this video is the 16mm 1.8G from Sony. With its small form factor and lightweight design, this is an excellent combo with the A7C II. This lens includes an autofocus and manual focus switch. It also includes an iris lock, or the ability to make it clicky or not. Just listen to this. This is a brilliant lens to carry around and keeps your package lightweight, but allows you to make amazing videos. First off, I want to talk about this little guy's portability. Just look at the size of it. This is it compared to my hand. This could easily fit into your pocket. Makes it very easy to carry around every single day. Also, if you're into travel and lifestyle content, vlog content, this with a smaller camera, talking like the A7C II or the ZVE10, ZVE1, those sort of small prosumer compact cameras, is going to make a very excellent under the radar camera kit. It's a very balanced setup, easily put into any sort of bag that you want to take out for the day. Even if you just have it on a strap, carrying it around is not going to be too bulky or cumbersome. And that's the reason I got it. I wanted a setup that I could use every day and it not bother me, and makes it really easy and fun to take videos compared to having a bulky zoom lens or something like that where I don't really want to carry it around all day. Compared with other lenses in this same category, there's not too many options. You've got the 24mm G Master and also the 20mm G 1.8 as well. If you want something a little bit wider, 20 is a little bit of a weird focal length where if you've got a 24, maybe 20 is not quite wide enough, then the 16mm is going to be your go-to for that scenario. What this lens will be best used for will be vlogging, travel content, lifestyle content, also some sort of interior stuff where you haven't got much space, such as architectural things, just anything that's inside, maybe some restaurant shoots and stuff like that. It can also be used to get some very interesting close-up shots for like products or people, but just beware that it will warp things to a certain point. That's just something you could use it for if you want to get creative, but it's not going to be your best option most of the time. And next I want to talk about the bokeh and low light. That's one of the reasons that this is so good as a vlogging or lifestyle lens. Sometimes where you are can be really dark. This with the 1.8 aperture is going to be really good in low light, especially compared with a full frame sensor. And the bokeh you get from this is pretty good for a 16mm. It's not going to be better than a 50, 85, or even 24s, 35s, but it's still pretty good, and to allow you to get some depth of field in such a wide shot is nice. Also, its autofocus and tracking features are really fast. If you're using a modern Sony lens with all the new autofocus tracking, the eye tracking and everything, you're not going to run into many problems with this. I've not run into any focus breathing issues either, and generally in my experience, I've not experienced anything that's hindered the quality of my videos with this lens. And you'll notice that the focus breathing is not an issue. The autofocus is not an issue. This lens performs excellently in all scenarios. And at the end, I'll show a small demonstration of the autofocus tracking and how wide this lens is. So next I want to talk about price. This is probably the biggest factor for most people. This isn't a top of the line lens, but in this category of wide-angle primes, this is probably one of your only options. The only other lenses in this category could be the 20mm G as well, 1.8. There's also the 24mm G Master I mentioned earlier. But to me, I looked at all these other options as well, and the 24mm just is a lot more expensive. The 20mm is a little bit cheaper, but it doesn't have that extra 4mm of focal length, which when it comes down to it, on the lower end of your focal length, 4mm is a huge difference. It definitely allows for a lot more to be in your shot. So if you're interested in a really wide lens and that's something you like the look of, it's definitely worth the money. I think it's only a couple $100. But I'll put the prices on screen, comparing the 24mm, the 20mm, and the 16mm. And then I'll also compare the 16mm Viltrox on this side and maybe the Tamron 17 to 25. Now I just want to talk a little bit about why I personally like it. Again, it comes down to the small form factor, the ease of use, the reliability, the versatility. It's run perfectly well on my camera. The autofocus is incredible. The wide angle is great. The only slight con that I've had with this is because of the wide angle, there's not so much warping compared to others I've seen, but just because it is so wide on a full frame sensor, you're gonna get some warping, and if you move or shake your camera a little bit, it does have quite a drastic difference, and the footage does look very shaky. It can also be very interesting for these sort of like flick or wipe transitions that you do, if you're into that sort of style. Now let me show you the wide angle. Okay, so currently I'm shooting on the 24 to 70 millimeter from Sigma, and this is at 35 millimeters focal length right now. And you can see kind of how wide this is. And then I'll switch it over to 24 millimeters, which is this wide. Okay, and then now I'm gonna put on the 16 millimeter, and you can see really how wide this is, especially in this sort of environment. And then the clips I'll show throughout the video, I'm sure you would have seen how wide it can be in everyday life and when you're shooting out and about. Now you can probably see why I'm not using this lens in this environment. There's a lot of space around me that will be shown, but you can really see how wide this is compared to this 35 or this 24 to 70 at 35 millimeters and 24 millimeters. So yeah, I hope that gives you a decent enough comparison between the focal lengths, and you can see kind of how it would fit into your studio or into your room if you're making videos, or even how you'd use it in everyday life. I hope you enjoy. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you'd like to subscribe or like this video if you found it helpful, I've got the 24 to 70 millimeter Sigma, the 2.8. And if you'd like me to talk about that lens next, then I can do that too. So just leave a comment down below. Okay, thank you very much. Peace.